Sounds like it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 300th episode of the Geek First podcast.
Wow, big 300.
Yeah, how fitting is that? This is a special one. I am the ultimate Travis Snell.
I am the Marvel Knight, Dylan Muss.
Ready for this?
I'm so ready.
I am the Taylor Field.
That was good. Did you rehearse that?
I rehearsed all the way here.
Yeah.
I hope
And
that
his
was
teacher's
audible.
like, shut up.
I am the wall crawling Kirkland Patzer.
Nice.
Boom. If you haven't guessed from our nicknames, we are here to finally review Marvel Ultimate Alliance. We've been talking about it for years now.
It's true.
This all started very first year of Geek First. Me, Kirkland, and Dylan, we did a Dreamcast of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, hoping one day we would get it. And it's here. We did a 24-hour stream. Thank you to everyone that tuned in that.
Mhm.
That was tons of fun. We've played it a few more times. So we're about to review it. Also, the game reviews are a bit different. If we talk any story spoilers, that will be at the end. But I don't think there's too much deep dive of story.
Not too much.
I think we'll probably do spoilers for one thing, just because it's probably worth talking about on the cast. But it's it's more about the gameplay. So
Fuck.
who wants to start? So you're in a safe zone for this game. We will say spoilers if we get in any territory. Who wants to
I mean,
start?
it's hard to say what someone considers like a spoiler. You know, some people don't like to know absolutely anything.
Yeah.
If they know one cutscene exists, it's like a spoiler to them.
I say
So-
like if you can throw out a location somewhere, that's fine, but not the context of the location, not
Right.
when it is, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
fair.
I got a good starting point.
Let's hear it.
Those fucking camera angles.
Ooh.
So you're
starting on a negative.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
gonna
it.
start on a negative because I mean this game has a lot of positive. I'm just gonna throw it out
Yeah.
there. It's addicting. I'm gonna be going to buy it here, dipping it in my dip fund,
Your
but
emergency
Dip fund.
my
funds.
emergency funds. Yeah. But
By dip fund, do you mean like your chewing tobacco fund?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He spends a
For
lot of money on
emergencies.
dip.
Sorry, Madison, we
I thought
can't
so,
pay
yeah.
for rent this month.
But yeah, the game, there was. We played through the whole game, the
We
full
did,
24
yeah.
hours. But there was only one part of that game that was just brutal, and
One part?
it was like I'm not even sure what the level was called or what the map
Shadowlands?
was.
Shadowlands. When
Shadowlands?
you're fighting
Okay.
Bullseye.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you're fighting Bullseye, and like it was right when I hopped into the stream, and then it was just
Right when I
literally the
dipped
camera
out,
angle
too.
went like right underneath the boards, and we're freaking
Yeah.
out. We don't know what's going on. I thought, okay, this is the norm then. So, yeah, how'd you guys feel?
And you know what? I've replayed that level a couple times, and it doesn't get any better.
I feel like they'll have to patch that.
I've done it in solo, and it's like the camera doesn't go underneath the level; it instead just goes outside, like over top.
Oh,
so
no.
it's like bad. It's equally bad in a completely different way. So yeah, that Bullseye fight is brutal, right? Because the camera is so bad, and there is other moments where the camera's not great, and naturally, like you're always gonna get like rubber banded and stuff. Like
specifically on multiplayer. It's
the
pretty tough.
other Ultimate Alliance games, the camera's not great either, but at least in those games you could control it a bit.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, if you have more than one player, you can't move the camera at all. It's completely like preset angles, and it is savage. It is really, really bad.
It is.
It is by far like the biggest problem with the game, and I really hope they change it. Just like let us move the camera around. Right?
Yeah.
There's a stick on my controller that lets me do that.
Mhm.
Why would you take that away? I don't really
Yeah.
understand. And in single player, it's much better. I've played a decent amount of
Are
single
you
player.
able to move it in single player?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
And you can choose. You can do like a zoomed out one where it is like more set camera angles where you
Yeah.
can still move. Or there's like the heroic cam, which is like kind of zoomed in on your character. It's more like a third person kind of action game as you
Okay.
would expect. Not quite as zoomed in as like a Tomb Raider, Horizon Dawn, something like that. But it's quite a bit more zoomed in, which is difficult another way. You can't really see everything at once, but at least the camera is much more manageable that way.
Mhm.
So it gets a bit better in single player, but for a game that's like so co-op focused, or like on paper it should be at least. You would
Yeah.
hope that it'd be a bit better. You'd hope that they would like have play tested the game and realize that like Shadowlands is like that fight is broken. Like you can't see the boss for half of it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how like that
Yeah.
made it into the
I
finished
know.
game
I
personally.
was gonna say like there's parts I actually wasn't there for the Bullseye part, but I know I think I saw it on the review or on the live stream when
Yeah.
I was watching it, and it looked so bad that it was almost like it felt like an early like beta access
Yeah.
game, and like
Yeah.
I don't know, like for someone that like they must have play tested with 4 people, right? Like you would assume that they would have gone through that, but yeah, there's just parts that it's so bad that I feel like they have to like I don't know, hot fix it, just
Mhm.
like fix that in a patch or something because it's just so brutal, and it just for how awesome that game is, it's just really sad
Yeah.
when you get those moments, but I don't know.
Yeah, another example that is like almost game breaking. I was playing with my roommate and his brother, after the stream had ended, a couple days later or something. And there's one level where you have to like jump through some lasers just as like an obstacle in the map. No problem when we were doing it the first time, but we had to do like it was for an Infinity Rift, so you're like on a timer. So we were kind of rushing through it, and there's like a point where we were like moved ahead, and the camera's like pulled my friend into the laser, and because he was so far off the screen that he couldn't like get hit away, he was just getting comboed into the laser. And he just died. And like this happened multiple times. So to have like these bad camera angles under time pressure, which sucks for some of these trials, like it can get like extra brutal at times because you don't have time to let the camera like adjust itself. Yeah, it's very, very brutal. It is the worst camera I've seen in a very long time. So it's monumentally bad.
I agree with that.
Did you have more there overall, or are you just throwing that on and going around? It was a strange.
His overall was just
normally we do an
Yeah.
overall. It's almost like we just jump right into it.
You're like,
Overalls.
yeah, camera. Let's talk about that. If you don't have, I can go with the overall.
I think I got one. The game itself overall was it was a lot of fun. You know, I mean, except for those few little like twists and turns of the camera angle. It was definitely just such a great experience, and I mean, you can have a fun time, you know, playing this game if you got it and you're playing by yourself. I'm not saying you're not gonna have a fun time because I had a great time playing with you guys.
Loser, no friends, playing by yourself. What's going on?
Well, they got online, thankfully, so you guys,
Yeah.
you aren't truly alone.
You're
you can
never
play
alone.
online.
Never.
But it was a lot more fun than I was expecting, and the missions and like the gameplay, it was great. And like when you're unlocking the characters, like you really get excited for when it's coming, and especially when you know it's coming and you're working your way there. The boss battles, I mean, they get progressively harder and harder, but they are so rewarding after you do it. You may get to a point where you think, fuck this, I'm just done with this already. You know, maybe we got to that point. You know, who's
I went to
say?
sleep at one point during the stream.
We
I was
also
like,
forced
fuck.
24 hours upon ourselves,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely a game, you know, worth it, and I mean, you'll definitely have a lot of good memories come out of it, and it was definitely worth the wait. It was very exciting. I remember when they first like revealed it back at what was it, the Video Game Awards
last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, and that was like, you know, we were kind of like weren't too sure, like it looked interesting, but now it's just like most of us are like, oh, we're getting the game, you know, we want it, so because it was just Dylan that had it, so.
Yeah, I'll segue because you brought the Game Awards. So yeah, when they revealed this, I was like it was a lackluster reveal to me, and luckily it went along, but I was like, I don't know, I didn't love the look of it. I didn't like some of the play styles going on. But once I started playing the game, all those fears had kind of gone anyways throughout the months. But once I started playing the game, it's pretty much everything I wanted. I think it is, for me, the best Marvel Ultimate Alliance game. And for me, if you're listening to this cast, you know I've always been going back and forth with the Switch and whatnot. I guess the best review I can slap on is I'm getting a Switch either today or tomorrow, just so I can play this goddamn game.
I already got my Switch.
I'm just hooked. I just remember even waking up from the stream just being like, man, I just want to play more Marvel Ultimate Alliance. And I will say, before I get into all these pros, I would only preference this with saying, if you're not a big fan of just hack 'em slash and beat 'em ups, and if you're not even like a hardcore Marvel fan, I don't think this is a game for you. I think it is a specific audience. If you like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, this is that. To me, just done a lot better in some aspects. Yeah, the camera, pretty bad. And my other con is I wish, and maybe this will change in the future, I wish we had a bit more in-depth costumes. We've kind of talked about this on some other casts.
Yeah.
There's some costumes that look cool, but there's lots that are just color swapped or palette swapped. But the good thing is the base costumes all look great.
They have confirmed that more are coming.
That's good.
I mean, whether or not
Hopefully less
they're
color,
whether or not they're just more recolors or full costumes, we don't know for sure. But they did say in August, when the new characters are coming out, that they are having some costumes with that. That's
cool.
a good sign.
Yeah, so with me, I've been a huge fan of the series ever since I played. I can't remember when, but when that first game came out, and I always remember those games, there's good things and bad things, but I guess to start off on a positive was I always feel like I had like 3 to 4 people I really liked, and then all the other people I might try out if I'm bored, this and that. But this game, and I haven't even got fully deep dive into it more, I just have so many people that I love, and the list of people that I could count that I was disappointed in characters, I could literally count on one hand, and even then it's just maybe not my play style. I'd say other than me, it's a little spoiler than Groot. Other than that, I go, oh, just not for me. But everyone feels unique. Everyone feels different. Even just having 4 abilities, which I was really worried about because the first game has like sometimes about 7 to 9 depending on the character. That's really cool in this game, the 4 abilities, because you're light and heavy. Everyone feels unique. I have like always debates in myself like, oh, who do I want to play with? Who is my main? I love that. But the stuff I love the most is you got the story, that's good. But most of the time, other than Ultimate Alliance 1, which I say probably has the best story because they got in depth and tried some different things, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 is just Civil War. And this one, I'd say the story is pretty basic. If you've read any Thanos story, it's kind of like that. It's him just trying to get the stones, and you know what that is, right? Endgame just came out, so you kind of have an idea. It's pretty basic. You're meeting heroes, you're just beating people. What I love is all the post like campaign stuff, and all the other games I love, like the comic book missions or like the kind of battle arenas that you take on. But there was never enough for me. I love the iOS 8s and everything that you can do with the upgrading and taking them down, and really feeling like you can construct your own character. But just Infinity Trials, all the stuff you can do after. I love that there's not just 2 or 3 modes, there's 4, so there's just so much stuff. The upgrading of characters, there's so much stuff I want to do after that. That's why I am getting this game, just because it's I just feel like it's a game that I want to put so much hours into, and it's a grinding game, but it's one of the, when you get a grinding game you love, you just can't get enough of it. And that's the best way I could describe this. Is just I want to, and it's a good thing. It's a game that you could literally pop in, especially myself who has like a kid, another kid coming on the way. You pop in, play 2 Infinity Trials for half an hour and be done with it. You know, that's why I got Dune not too recently long ago, because it's just I love long games like Red Dead or stuff like that, but I also like games where I can just plug in for half an hour, 45 minutes. And yeah, this game, I'd say from a game standpoint, like I said, or like we all talk about the camera, and maybe, yeah, it's a bit basic, because sometimes it's just a beat 'em up hack 'em slash, but for the game I was wanting, it checked almost all the boxes other than, yeah, the camera and maybe costumes. I was a little disappointed, but really there was so much goodness in here that I love the game, and I can't wait. And I should mention at the top, but we're going to do another rankings episode. Like now we're going to tier the people that we've actually played them and do like an actual where we feel, and we're going to do a podcast for every single DLC that drops. And even when they say, oh, this is the last DLC, we'll probably do like a roundup episode, and maybe we'll do a Dreamcast for Ultimate Alliance 4.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
All I'm saying, if you're on the fence, if you just want a fun game you can play with friends, if you like that, if you want to learn more about the Marvel lore, and if you just want something to hit that itch, because who knows if Square Enix Marvel's going to do that, this is definitely the game, and I just want you to go buy it so we can get, I'm being so greedy, but I want this, now this franchise is back in my life after 10 years, I want more. And I think if this, it's like we talk about all the time with games, when they make a sequel be better, if they got the chance to make a number 2, I think it would be even better than this. So love everything about this game, pretty much everything I wanted I got. So yeah, just please go buy it. I highly recommend it if you kind of like games that I do, or like what I just talked about.
Alrighty, that was a tough act to follow. That was pretty good overall. I like that.
Had to. I've been thinking about all week.
Yeah,
so.
no, for sure. Just like quick history for the Ultimate Alliance series. I never played the second game, but the first one I played a lot of. I just fell in love with just the idea of it, how you're able to just like team up with some buddies, and just the Marvel characters. It's just sweet. Anyone, I don't know whether you're a tanky type character or if you like to just be a little agile web crawler like me.
And back then we didn't have the movies, so seeing these characters cross over was like, oh my god, this is so cool.
Like you have Blade with Spider-Man. You got like just anyone, right? So like going into this one, I don't know, the Marvel hype has increased throughout the whole Kevin Feige era that we're living in.
I hope Feige's playing this game somewhere. I'd love to go online.
He's the last DLC. Come on now.
I would love it so much. He's just throwing his caps.
But yeah, no, just going into this one, I just remember kind of being shocked when they announced it at the Games Awards. I just felt like we always wished that Ultimate Alliance 3 would come, but just seeing it on there, it was just like, I don't know, it kind of shocked me. It was kind of like a mixed bag of emotions too, because like Travis, I wasn't completely sold on like the art style of it. I don't know, it was definitely different from like the last 2 games, but I don't know if they did any polishing or like changed anything going into this, but like when we were playing it, I fell in love with the art style. It's very unique and almost comic booky in a sense, but like the characters, like there's certain characters that just feel like a next gen character. Like the Spider-Man costume, obviously it's very similar to like a PS4. I guess it's different suit and everything, but I don't know, it just feels like a very detailed look. And then there's so many characters that just have really good detail, and they look really good, and I just loved it. And but yeah, just the gameplay itself, it was basically everything that I was hoping for. It was just so much fun. I really, really liked what they did with like the ultimate effects, like the extreme abilities, and how if one person fat fingers it, you're not. I'm looking at Taylor over here. If you fat finger it, everyone like it doesn't get burnt, right? Like you have the choice to jump in, and it like kind of changes like the effect, and like each character like says something differently, whether they're starting the extreme chain or if they're just jumping in. It's like got room for one more. Yeah, exactly. I loved hearing that. Anytime Ghost Rider, just I'm in. It's so good, and I don't know. I just feel like they improved on a lot of things, like gameplay wise, from the previous games. I've only played the second game like super briefly.
Yeah.
Ask if I have it.
Yeah.
Still never beat him.
Havoc.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I just felt like this game was a lot more like fun, like compared to the other one. And like the other ones are great. Like I don't know. Maybe it's just the hype because it's
I
a
think
new
it just
game.
feels like this is
and
the natural step up, right? Like those
Yeah.
games now, I could still go back and play them, but that's why I'm buying this game because like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 feel very different, but still similar enough where I don't feel like there's a giant leap. Where
Yeah.
this one, once I play, it's like I can't go back to playing 1 and
No,
2. I'm sure
yeah.
we will one day because we love these games
Yeah.
on the stream. Might break it out one day, but like I can't go back to those two. I gotta go, like I gotta keep moving forward. I gotta play this
Yeah.
one. Like it just feels more polished. And it
Oh,
does-
absolutely.
And it is 10 years after the
Yeah.
second one, so it's been a while.
You can never
so-
go back to that Ultimate Alliance 1 Black Widow.
No.
That chunky face. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing here, comrade?
But yeah, just like other than like a few negatives that we mentioned, like the camera angle, that's a pretty big one. And I don't know, it's such a big one that I'm thinking they're gonna have to like bug fix it. I don't know. It's just it's so terrible that I feel like I don't know, they gotta fix. And like it shouldn't be too hard, right? All you're really changing is the camera angle. It's not like the
Hopefully.
user has to change the camera. So
It is Nintendo, though. You know?
definitely
You
a big
you never
hopefully.
know. Yeah.
It's definitely a big hopefully. And then the other like knock on it was probably just like the costumes. I was a little underwhelmed just from the lack thereof of like different costumes.
Yeah, they're
You're-
just recolors.
yeah,
Yeah.
you guys already mentioned, and like especially coming from like Ultimate Alliance 1 where like there is some sweet costumes
4
in there.
different comic book
Yeah,
costumes.
totally. Like
yeah.
it changes the whole look of the character and like the feel of them. But I mean, for how awesome the gameplay is and just like the different characters that I got in this one, like sure I didn't get Blade, but hey, pick what's the saying? Pickers can't be choosers.
Yeah, beggars.
Yeah,
can't be choosers,
beggars,
yeah.
pickers. I don't know where I got that.
Pickers, don't you beg, picker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blade's
But,
coming. Blade's
September, man. September.
That's right. Yeah.
Eye
Oh, I
Against
forgot
Eye.
about that.
Yeah,
Actually,
Punisher,
I had a
Moon
bad
Knight,
example there.
Morbius.
Then yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, exactly.
Yeah,
All
pick
those.
a character that's not coming.
Yeah, no kidding. But just all the other like Star-Lord, having like the Guardians in there, Captain Marvel. She was so sweet. I loved her in this.
Yeah.
That was definitely probably my like most played character in it. But yeah, we can go on and on for how awesome this game is. But I can't wait to get it and really like. Travis was explaining to me before the cast just like how much actual like end game like features, not the movie, just like once you're done the main story, like you can actually build upon your
Yeah.
characters.
You beat the
Do
game, you
the-
unlock the movie. It's crazy.
Yeah, you do like the Infinity Trials, get your ISOs, you get your, I don't know, character level 100. I heard that's the max
That's the
level.
max, yeah.
Yeah,
I
just
want to do that with everybody.
yeah, and like it's just such an enjoyable game that I could just see myself like doing those like post game stuff, right? And it's just I'm
Mhm.
excited to get it and jump back in.
Yeah.
Dylan, I got a quick question for you.
Let's hear it.
What level is your Gamora right now?
I think she's still level 7. I haven't had a chance to. I've started leveling up some other characters, but my priority was to unlock the last character. The character was technically not announced, so I don't know how hush we want to be on spoilers.
Some
for that, but-
some preference for that is we were playing 24-hour stream. We were having difficulty with the boss, and we were saying let's just use some cubes. And Dylan just kept being like, "Oh, my level 7 Gamora." So it's go on Twitch the entire 24-hour stream.
Those
is up
cubes
there.
are fucking important. Now you guys are all getting the game. You're gonna realize how much you don't want to fucking use
I'm
those
not
on
spending
Cube
them.
Rider.
Cube
Rider.
Cube Rider.
That should have been your
Cube
your
Rider
nickname.
carried us though. I mean,
Yeah,
I will say though, Taylor Ghost Rider is no longer my highest leveled character.
It's okay. I didn't think
I've outranked him. I didn't want that to be my highest ranked character. I love him and all, but
I gotta give props to Taylor though. He saved her butt lots of times. Him and Ghost Rider, just that synergy.
Ghost
you know?
Rider's
That's-
busted,
yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Synergy.
they
He's a
were
good character.
That
even
shit
though,
is
around.
even though he was not using the chain attack the way he should have been, but
He
yeah.
had
I
some
started
risky
to.
moves
yeah,
on the bike
I know, but
too.
a little too late.
He had some very
that
risky
bike,
moves.
Okay, just throwing it out here. When Dylan says use the bike or whatever, I'll use the bike.
he'll use the bike.
I was
every time.
watching that stream again, and you're like, use the bike. You're like, don't use the bike.
No, he said, "Come on!" Didn't he say, "Come on, Taylor, one last ride"?
One
and then
last
he used
ride.
the bike, and he's like, "Why'd you use the bike?" He said, "One last ride."
Any
Yeah.
excuse to use that
There are
bike.
some good
So
moments, but
good.
yeah, I
That bike's
highlighted the
great.
video on Twitch, so the whole 24 hours are gonna stay there. It's not gonna disappear after
Nice.
30 days. So
Nice.
it's up there. It's tons of fun. Dylan, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, where do I don't want to repeat what you guys said. I mostly agree. I'm loving the game as well. I obviously, since I own the game here, I've played it like a bunch more since the 24-hour stream, and I definitely have to agree with you guys on in terms of like late game content. I feel like there is a lot there. Like after you beat the game, you only start with 2 difficulties. One's kind of like a casual mode if you just want to experience the story, and then Mighty is kind of like the normal mode, which still gives you some challenges. Like there's some really hard boss fights
Fuck
in there
Dormammu.
and sequences. Yeah, there's some really difficult sequences, but even that, like after that, after you complete that, you unlock another difficulty, and then after you complete that one, you unlock even greater difficulty. The difficulty definitely ramps up, and you get like a bunch of infinity rifts that you can. Like, there's just so many levels in there to go through, and to get like 3 stars on all of them is gonna be tricky. I've barely even jumped into that yet, and things like unlocking like your 4th ISO slot takes a lot of work, a lot of leveling up. So there's a lot to work towards, and that's one thing I've found really rewarding. Even in I've only been playing it for a few days, but I've had like just really substantial like goals, and I feel like there's a lot of that in the game. Like the first goal obviously is I want to beat the game. So you beat that, and the next is like, hey, you got to get the next difficulty unlocked. I want to get that last difficulty. I want to unlock all the characters. I want to go for that like 4th ISO slot. I want to get the 5th upgrade on your abilities. Like there's a lot of like steps that you can really set for yourself. So it keeps it interesting. I feel like I just have so many goals in my mind now of next things I need to do. Get every character to level 20, do this, do that. There's a lot to work on. And that's really rewarding. I was super excited for this game, like the last few months coming up, like ever. I guess mostly since E3, because there was a lot of content there, a lot to dive into, a lot to experience.
Yeah, that was the turning point, I think. Up until that, we were still like, oh, we hope it's
there was
good.
There was like 2 trailers, I think, at that point, so there wasn't a whole lot to find out. But yeah, E3 really ramped it up. I joined the Discord, and there I've been talking with people just speculating, and that's something I love about Smash, is just speculating on the roster. Who are they going to add? Who are they going to cut? What levels are they going to do? All this stuff. That's like really fun for me, and so doing that with this game has been a lot of fun just before the game released, and then so the fact that it really like landed for me, and I'm loving it as much as I was like anticipated for it is pretty awesome. Like that's definitely a great feeling to have. There's so many like great character designs, I think, in this game. I think that's where this like gameplay wise takes the biggest leap from the other games. I think they both have their strengths, but I think like in terms of character, like how much I guess diversity with your character, how well the characters are designed, like it blows 2 out of the water in my opinion. And in the first game, it's hard to compare because the first game has, like you said, 4 costumes which change your stats and stuff, so you can build your character. Yeah, like that's really great just visually, but also because you can change your character. Like one of them will give you more experience, one's like more defensive, so you can really build your character in different ways. The ISOs kind of make up for that, but it's still nice to be able to have that like visual aspect. Like I definitely want more costumes at some point. But I think the main thing with Ultimate Alliance 1 is, yes, you have like you can equip up to like 7 or 9 abilities, but you can only have 3 on at a time, because remember, one of them is your extreme attack. That's always equipped. So that's kind of annoying that it always takes up a slot. It kind of makes it like, so even though you get 3 other abilities and you can switch between them, like you almost feel like you have to do certain things. Like Doctor Strange, for example, in the first game has a teleport. And like I really want to use that. I would love to put it on, but you just can't really justify putting that on over his heal, over like his box move, over like a damage move. Like you need like, and there's a lot of moves that I felt like were just, there's 2 moves that are almost identical, but one's just like objectively better. So there's like, even though there was more moves to pick from, which is really fun, some of them weren't so great. So on other characters, that's better than others. Whereas in this game, yes, you only have 4 abilities, but they're really, really well designed. You get to use all 4 of them at the same time, because one of them is not the extreme attack. And then I think the biggest thing is just how they've changed light and heavy attacks. So in the previous games, like even in 1, it's nice because you have like different combos, but really like every character's light and heavy attacks are like different combinations of punches and kicks, which is weird. It's like, why is Storm like punching this guy? Like it doesn't really make sense for the character. Whereas the characters in this game are just so well designed. You know, Storm's light attack is like just shooting out some like lightning beams, and then her heavy attack is like throwing out a mini tornado. On top of that, she has like skills. So a lot of characters like basic attacks are what would be like a skill in Ultimate Alliance 1. So they definitely have their pros and cons, and I don't know if this one or Ultimate Alliance 1 is better. I think I would say this one. You know, it's only been a few days.
I think this one for me, it's just because the back catalog of stuff. Because you have the comic book missions in the first one, but lots of them are solo or just defeat Scorpion, and that's it. It's not like, oh, do this, do this. This is so much after game that you can do, whether it is just doing the trials for fun or getting the 3 stars. Yeah, that's why it puts it over. Because that first one, it's just replaying the story.
Yeah,
a lot,
I also want to piggyback on that, because I'm glad you brought up the heavy and light attack thing, because that's super important though. Because if you take a character like Storm, who is in like the first game, like your light and heavy attacks, okay, she's a brawler now, but it's like that's really not what that character is. Whereas like you mentioned in this game, it really just,
it's a reflection of that character's abilities.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
powers,
exactly. And like you would expect that from a character like that. Like I don't know, Star-Lord. Like I would expect his light attacks just be like shooting his guns. He wouldn't be up there like throwing fisticuffs or whatever. Sure, he punched Thanos in the movie, but hey,
that
didn't work out for him. You should stick to his blasters. I'm really glad you brought that up, because I kind of forgot about that. And I also just love how like smooth like your combos feel. Like you don't feel like you're, okay, I have to hit AAB for this combo. It's like, no, you can throw in however many light attacks you want, throw in your heavy, and then you're basically making your own combos. And I just really, really like that. And
it definitely feels a lot more fluid than the other two games, which can feel a little bit clunky playing them in 2019. I still love them, but they can be a little bit clunky. And then even on top of the light and heavy attacks, you also have like interesting aerial attacks. Because in the first game, and I think the second game as well, every character just has kind of like a generic superhero landing, which is it's fun, it's fine, but it's like not very like fluid. Like it feels like a pretty committal thing to do. And then even once again, it's like not really a true reflection of the character. Whereas a lot of characters like Falcon, for example, like he just shoots his guns as he like slowly like floats down, and it lasts for like 5 seconds. It's really cool that's like what would be like a regular like a gun attack ability. It's just like somebody has as a aerial move, which is pretty fun. Even though they only have one aerial move each, like you don't even notice that this game doesn't have a grab. You don't notice you don't notice that you don't have like extra abilities because the characters are so well designed, and there some of them are really really unique, and I'll talk about a couple that I really want to point out. But I think for my overalls, that's pretty much it. I think the story is like, I think it's almost impossible to make a good story with this many playable characters, this many villains. It's just not really possible. So I think the story is like basic, not really that interesting. I think some of the writing is okay. I think there's some good character moments. I think the
voice acting.
The voice acting, I think, is really good for the most part. Like, for example, Spider-Man's the same guy who did it in PS4. Yeah. There's a lot of these people who have voiced these characters before, so they're good at it.
Deadpool, some classic.
There's a couple like Gamora and Drax and like Corvus Glaive. Like some of them really don't work for me.
Ultron,
but
Corvus
honestly,
Ultron.
for the most part, like they're really good, and they all get like fun sequences, and the cutscenes are really well made. Like I really like the look of those. Yeah. The music, not really anything to write home about. It's pretty generic. But I'm really loving this game. I have a couple minor problems. The camera's awful. The other thing is just co-op in general. Like a couple examples is like one guy like opens up the menu and then like another person has to control it. Or another example, I'm playing Black Panther. I walk up to an NPC to talk to them, and then my friend with another controller has to hit A to go through the dialogue. It's like, once again, that's another thing. It's like, how did that make it through testing? How did they not realize that that's like clearly broken? Like that's not how games work.
Are you talking like online co-op or couch co-op? Because I know it's the couch co-op. Okay, so that's not online.
I don't know what happens online because people online aren't talking to NPCs, right? That's something you do to like when you're just casually playing through the game. Most people online are like trying to get through this in like a good amount of time and kind of grind some stuff up. At least from the people I've played with, I've just only played through people on Discord. I haven't done any random matchmaking, so I'm not really sure how that works or like how well you can communicate with those people. You get like a couple like generic things that you can say fight or defend yourself or nice job, but those never really work. That's just like a Nintendo Band-Aid over their really bad voice chat that they've always had. But yeah, I mean, I had so much expectation for this game, and it is right now living up to it, and there's just so much more content on the way, like 2 characters for free next month, and month after we get at least 4 characters. Probably stuff every month, it seems like, and that's pretty awesome.
New modes, which I don't know what that's going to be, but I'm just hyped to hear new modes.
Yeah, is that new difficulty? Is that like some sort of wave mode? Who knows what it is?
Even if it's new trials, I'll take it. Even like, I
think there'll definitely be new trials. I
want them.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. I'm loving it. There's just so many characters that have never been in an Ultimate Alliance game before that feel great, and Every character I've played except for Doctor Strange is really fun, which that's disappointing because Doctor Strange is my favorite character in the first game. He was definitely my most anticipated going into this game. I hate his moveset. I really don't like that character at all. His heal sucks. His other moves feel kind of clunky. Yeah, it's really disappointing.
Strong word,
but
Anakin.
that is the only character so far. Even I was playing some Luke Cage yesterday, and he's a basic character. He's not really my archetype, but I still had fun playing with that character. So yeah, Strange is the only one to me that's disappointing. Other than that, I think they've done a fantastic job with the characters. So
yeah, the only thing like I'm going back a little bit, but just to mention on the story, for me, it's like the first one had a really fun, interesting story, but that's not really a big thing I was looking for, at least in this game when it was coming up. Like when we're talking about how in depth these characters are and their attacks and their feel, I'd much rather them narrow down that. It's kind of the same way I attribute to like a Marvel vs. Capcom or a Mortal Kombat. It's great if they have a good story, but people aren't usually getting Mortal Kombat for a good story, right? Same as Call of Duty. You're getting for certain things, and
don't get me wrong. That's not. It's like I'm in the same position. I didn't expect that the story would be outstanding. Like you can't have every cutscene with 30 characters just hanging out. It'd be awkward.
Yeah.
It wouldn't really make sense at all.
Even though that's why I have to do a fourth one, you should do Secret Wars. I think that would be the prime Marvel Alliance. I'm surprised they haven't done it.
That is a great idea. That totally is like a band-aid for what is like inherently broken.
Put on this planet, and you got a reason to fight heroes. So contact me, Team Ninja. I got some ideas, but I'll put a gun to your guys' head. Pick one, only one. Who's your main right now? And that's
one
very
character?
tough because I have like when we do our rankings, I have like
It's not tough for Taylor.
It's not tough for me.
Yeah, true. But maybe for Taylor, you can give us your second at least, and I think I know that. But maybe the viewers don't. But when I do the rankings in my like top like S slot, I legitimately have 5 right now, and I haven't even fully deep dived the game. I got a 2 for if I have to go in like the like. Focus Travis, it's Cap every time because I did die when we played 24-hour stream, but I always felt when I played as Cap that was like the go-to. I could do a lot of damage, but surprisingly, I never thought I would say this, but I'm gonna play way more once I get the actual game. But I think Wasp might be my favorite. I fucking love Wasp so much.
Those fidget spinners.
The fidget spinner is so cool. Like
The
when I was telling
candy
Dylan,
bar,
she has this one attack where she's like the movies, like comics. She has an item, throws it up, makes it big, and sometimes it's a piece of candy, sometimes a ball cap lid, and that comes down, does lots of damage. But then she throws up the fidget spinner, who it comes down, does damage, but then it actually spins and continues to do damage. I was like, when I get this game, I'm just going to boost the crap out of this move. But she's just so fun and versatile. Like, she has, like, her light attack laser beams. Oh, she has, like, tornadoes.
Mm-hmm.
She just... and like I said, I don't know. It's tough because Wolverine is another one. Like I said, I honestly have, like, a 6-way tie. But I just remember Spider-Gwen was great. Wasp, I just had so much fun with. So if I had a gun in my head, and I would never guess it. I think she was, like, middle tier for me, like I'll give it a try, but she was just so unique and so different. So, but I love so many characters. But that's a gun to head. Like I really enjoyed her. At one point we stopped playing with her because I was just kind of bopping people. She was a higher level, so I was like, okay, I'll take out till everyone's higher. But man, she was so much fun, and it just is a tribute to the game and how many characters I love in this game. So that's mine.
I'll take it. Mine. If I had a gun to my head, Captain Marvel for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely played her the most while I was streaming with you guys. It was also kind of like a weird situation because she was super under leveled and I really wanted to play her, so I felt like I had to.
Everyone was rocking like 40s, and here's Kirkland over here.
Yeah, I was like,
blasting.
level 10 or something. I think when I started playing her, and you guys were all like easily over 20, and like I just really wanted to play her to get her up. So I felt like for most of the game, because I kind of got there like a bit of late, and I felt like I was just playing catch up and just trying to get her to that upper level. But I absolutely just fell in love with her moveset. Like even like without her abilities, like the fact that she could like her heavy attack, she would shoot them up in the air and then like pound them down.
So
it was just such a
Mm-hmm.
fun and like smooth, it felt like an ability
You
with
feel
how
like
smooth
Captain
it was.
Marvel when you're
Oh
playing,
yeah, and definitely her extreme is probably like the best extreme that I played in that game. Like I didn't play all the characters, but going binary mode, because you do this like badass extreme ability or whatever, and then afterwards you're still in binary mode, and you basically just have like empowered abilities, like you just do more damage. It felt like I went Super Saiyan every time I did it. She just looks so sick, and I absolutely loved it. I'm a big bias towards Captain Marvel too, because I just love that character. So, but yeah, that's my number one.
She's a cool character. Yeah.
I'm excited to try more characters, like get like my tier list
Oh,
going.
there's so many in there, right?
Yeah.
There's no way you can play them all.
There
Even in a
is a
24-hour
lot.
stream.
Yeah.
There's still so many I got to try.
Yeah,
out.
exactly. All right, Taylor.
I wonder who it'll be.
It's pretty obvious. Gamora, no.
Seven Gamora.
No, my number one. I'll definitely do my number 2 for you, Travis. But my number 1 is totally Ghost Rider. Like as soon as he appeared in the
Dark Dimension.
Yeah, the Dark Dimension. It was just love at first sight. I was so excited. Just popped in there, and his moves are great. Like we got him.
He's really cool.
He is so cool. Like thankfully when we unlocked him, he had all of his 4 abilities already unlocked. So I just got to go to town and just riding doing that simple like bike like drift move is sick. I love
It's cool because it lays
so
fire
cool.
down on the ground that does damage over time.
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
pretty unique
you can
ability.
kind of escape if you're in shit's creek.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
the
One
fact-
last ride.
The fact that they put that because the bike is so big, but in the first game he didn't have that, so they do that constantly. We'll save it to the end, but there's like some other unlockable characters that they just did perfectly, and like I thought you got to put these in the game, and they did, and it's just like I felt they just knocked it out of the park of like. They're making Ghost Rider. Okay, what would fans want to see? The bike. Well, how do you do the bike? You can't make that his jump. Like, let's just make an attack. You're going to press that, and that's going to be his charge. Like, I feel like with each character, there's attacks like that where it's like, right away. Like, what would they do? Let's put that.
They
in
tried
the
to
game.
find like what are the essence of the character? How
Yeah.
can we
Yeah.
represent that?
and they all feel
Absolutely.
unique in that way for the most part, you know.
Yeah,
So.
and that's one of the big reasons why I love Ghost Rider too, because he's so unique, and then just everything, like all his moves, like yes, he's got like a light chain whip attack, heavy chain whip, and then he's got like he shoots like these basically like fireballs or whatever, like along the ground, which is super cool, and then he's got like breathe fire or fire breath where he shoots fire out of his mouth, which is sick, and then his other one which I love is when he just swings his chain around above it. It's so cool, and it's topped with an amazing extreme where he hops on his bike, does fucking like drifts around his opponent, says
man.
pay for your sins, jumps up, whips his chain to the ground, and slams down his bike. It's fucking amazing. You can't get better than that. Yeah, I'm in. Like, it's so good.
Cube Rider, that legendary
Cube Rider.
Yeah, and that's how I knew, because I know at one moment I like someone died and I was like at Ghost Rider, and that's how I in the first game I've never been that big a fan of Ghost Rider. He's pretty stocky and he just has some basic attacks, but even when I was playing, I'm like, I know I'm not gonna get my hands on him because it's Taylor's boy. I was like, oh, this is really fun. I'd like to play him. Hence why I'm buying the game for myself. But yeah, just like I feel like that character, I was very happy for you that they put in a lot the best hits. So
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm glad he had a little bit of time to shine with that. But my second character that I was actually caught off guard when I popped him in, because when I started the game, I tried Rocket and Groot, and I wasn't totally sold on them, even though Rocket and Groot I think was in my like first tier.
Might have been your
for
number one or number
casting,
two.
like who I was gonna try. Yeah, so
The one last ride tier.
Yeah.
one last ride tier.
I think you had those two in Venom as well.
I had Venom, yeah,
Venom,
which I didn't
Venom.
take off with Venom. I didn't like him that much.
Kirkland, did you like Venom? Or is this
Um,
another? And I'll ask Dylan the same thing after.
It was
'cause
an interesting thing because like his moveset was definitely different from like the previous game because he had like that little like shark ability or
whale,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like it definitely was cool, but I just felt like I wasn't doing much damage, and I felt like it's kind of like a rehash from like the first game where I feel like I was tankier than I actually was, and I was
Yeah.
just dying a little bit too easily. But also, you got to throw in the fact that there's just other characters I wanted to play. So
Yeah.
once I actually
Yeah.
have the game and I can like I don't know spend time on everyone, I feel like it might change. But
Yeah, I
he,
just never.
he wasn't in my
played-
top tier.
Yeah, I just never played him, and I know we've always knocked him in the first two games that he should be much more of a kind of funner, cooler character. In the first two games, didn't
Yeah.
nail that.
Well,
so I haven't played him 3. I want
Naturally, I think the characters you get early on in the story. When you unlock characters, their level is kind of like equivalent to, I guess, like the recommended level that you should be when you get to that part in the game. So when you get to the X Mansion or you get to the Dark Dimension, like those characters unlock with all their abilities, whereas Venom, he unlocks with like one ability. So you I think you just got to play with him a bit more. You got to see like when he has all his abilities, will I like him then? Because that's kind of the indicator, right?
It was also at that point where it's like I could like level him up, or I just want to get Carol Danvers, popping off. So let's level her up.
There's so many characters. You gotta pick
Yeah,
someone. It's not that you don't
exactly.
want to pick the other guy.
And I do want to shout out before I forget, because I remember talking about this in tier rankings. He's somebody that could easily be a main as well, and I should have even complicated him with Wasp. But was Magneto, because Magneto in the first game I loved, but in the second game he dropped quite a bit. But in this game, it's the best he's ever been. He's so unique. And
He's awesome.
yeah, I won't bump you, Wasp, but I might bump you. It's like a 2 attack. It's just there's one attack where he literally just lifts the middle of the
He
ground.
had some really cool abilities.
It's huge. Like,
Yeah.
It's just like it's attacks that should be almost game breaking, but they're not. They level them out. But he plays like a boss. So
That's
it's like a dead tie
that's
action
true.
story, Wasp. But I loved Magneto in this game. So Taylor, who was your second? I just knew I was gonna forget, but there's so many.
It's got to be Hulk. You only played 3 characters,
That's what I was
didn't
gonna
you?
say. Yeah.
Yeah.
My Hulk, surprisingly, or my second surprisingly was Hulk. I loved one of his special abilities where it's just like doing that
The thunderclap
the
thing.
thunderclap,
The
from,
DK
like,
clap.
yeah, from the Incredible
The DK
Hulk.
clap.
Like, just like it's DK clap. It's just he was just super cool, and I actually really really liked him, and I'd probably aside from Ghost Rider, I definitely want to boost him up a lot, and
I can't wait to
He's
see when
really
you,
good too, and like
I
really
can't wait
strong.
to see your when you get the game slowly, like what your team is.
it's gonna be a crazy team.
Yeah, you got
Yikes.
some wild picks.
I do want to say though, like there's definitely a few more characters I definitely want to give a little bit more trying with, and
The
with
X-Men.
my team, the X-Men. With my team, I'm 100% confident. Like Iron Man's probably my third. I didn't give him much love in the 24-hour stream because once Ghost Rider popped in, I was like, I can't go back. But his move set, especially his ability where it's from Iron Man 2 with the lasers.
Yeah.
Oh my
I was
god.
disappointed they took out his attack from both games. I can't remember. They're like a barrage and they like bounce all over, but they replaced it with that one. So it is a cool one. He's still a cool character, but I had to shout out for the hardcores that they took that out. And I think it makes sense. It's a little P because if you miss, it still just bounce off the wall, still hit somebody. So
Yeah.
it makes sense,
Fair enough. Am I up next for this? Yeah.
Yes, you
You're
are, sir.
next.
So, Yeah, after my goal, like I really wanted to get that, like blast through that the difficulty you get after Mighty, and so really the best way to do it is just to stick to one or two characters. So I definitely do have a declared main because I pretty much only used two characters as I blasted through that difficulty when I was playing with people online, and those two characters were Black Panther and Elektra. And I think right now
Electra.
Black Panther would be probably my favorite character.
So cool.
They did so good with his moveset of making him like a really like his movement speed is kind of slow actually, but he's just so agile. The way he jumps around is really, really satisfying. What they did some really unique things with him as well. Like, so there's a couple characters that kind of have like almost like a barrel roll, like spinny attack like in the air. That's just like their aerial attack. And his is really cool because it pairs well with some other moves. Like his heavy attack hits enemies into the air. So you can do that and then you can pair it with your aerial attack. Or he has this other one where it's like he kind of ascends up. It's almost like Sonic or something, like as he brings an enemy into the air. So that's great because it just like instant kills the weaker enemies in like one go.
Oh yeah.
But you can use it on like bosses and stuff as well. It doesn't bring them in the air, but then you can use that move and then combo it with his like aerial attack. And then his aerial attack's awesome. It's like Mario. If you land on someone's head with it, you like jump off of them and then you can use it again. So he like just has like these aerial combos that are really, really cool. Like something that you don't really have in the other Ultimate Alliance games at all, except for like maybe Green Goblin because he's fucking flying around on his glider all day. So that's just like a couple of his moves. He has one that's like kind of like a lunge. It just has really, really good stagger on it. He has like the kind of like from the movie, like the vibranium explosion thing.
Right.
He kind of
Yeah,
absorbs
so
the
cool.
shot. So he's just like a really agile character, really, really fun. And ended up being like probably my favorite so far.
I was pretty happy because I played with him for quite a bit too, and same thing. He's another character that might be in the S tier because I talked about him in both games. He was pretty disappointing to me because he's a guy that what they nail in the game is his like agility and his movement. Like he's Black Panther, like he's supposed to be quick and agile and dangerous. Where the first games he felt always slow and just very more brawlery, and that's not. Like, Black Panther is a brawler, but not to the same way Wolverine would be or Luke Cage.
Yeah.
And I felt in the previous games, they always made him feel like that. And I never understood because he's always jumping around comics. Or you look up, he's always, like, on a wall, perched somewhere. But in other games, he just feels like he was just so, like, heavy, you know?
Yeah.
And in this game, I agree with
He's
you.
doing flips all the time.
Everything you said about him, he just feels like he's on the equivalent of Spider-Man. He's just all over the place. You just feel like you're just... no disrespect to Shang-Chi, but just like Kung Fu Master, you're taking people out. Like, yeah, I gotta double down.
Yeah,
Great
no, I
character as
definitely
well.
agree with you, Dylan. Like, I didn't play him too much. It was definitely those moments where my level 14 Carol Danvers wasn't pulling it off, so I had to pull out like level 40, whatever he was.
He starts pretty high, 30 something.
Black Panther, and like I didn't play him a whole lot, but I just found his combos just so like. They just made sense how they like work together, and it was just fun like pairing that with his abilities. He just like I felt like Black Panther, whereas like you said in the first game, it's like I feel like a brawler that looks like Black Panther. You
Who
know,
dies really easily.
yeah, it's just like he felt slower, whereas this one, like I really just felt like they put a lot of like shine on like what makes that character unique. Like just it was just awesome. I loved playing him.
I do want to say, at one point, one of the moments where you were playing as Black Panther, it was in one crazy boss battle actually, and Kirkland, you were like passing out, and your job was to just run around as Black Panther. So you were running around in circles.
I was half asleep during that time.
Yeah, you were barely hanging on. It was
I did pretty
hilarious.
good. He's
you
agile.
You did good. Yeah.
You survived longer for me once, even though you were like sleeping. That was pretty embarrassing.
I let the character carry me.
I guess a couple other characters. One, I think they did a really good job with Crystal as a character. She's kind of like an elemental, especially for a character that none of us know who she is or like her story. But she's kind of like an elementalist. So all of her 4 abilities are like one's fire, one's water, one's air, and one's like earth, I guess. And it's just really, really cool the way your designers. So like her basic attacks are projectiles as well. So like she'll just throw out some fireballs or like a big fireball, but like the element changes for your basic attack based on like whatever move you used most recently, but you can also choose to not change it if you want. Like if you always want to keep it on fire, you can still use your abilities without switching it. So they just did a really good job of making her a really unique character that like is kind of switching her basic attack around and then, switching between these different elemental attacks. So yeah, really, really unique design. I think they did an amazing job with her. And then, yeah, like I said, Elektra is kind of like my other main character. She's exactly what you'd expect, just like badass assassin character, but she also has a couple of fun projectiles in there and just like really, she has a really good stagger move, a really
Does
good
she
stab.
Throw ninja stars?
Yeah, she does.
Okay, I just didn't get to play there.
She has,
I still, like,
she has
5 or
one
6
that she
people
like
haven't played.
she jumps back and throws 3 into the
Nice.
ground that
I really
explode,
like that
and then she also
mechanic,
has
too.
one where she just throws like until you run out of mana. pretty much.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so you
good.
can
I
throw
love
those
moves
into a
like that.
tornado, and then they just fly out in
Because
different directions.
Another thing, they took away Deadpool's guns, which I hate. He does like he shoots, but then he like turns and then shoots. I don't like that. I like that idea. And this thing with Widow, I love the spamming, just shoot as much as possible. So that's good to know.
I was gonna say I thought I played Electra, but very similar moveset for Psylocke actually.
Yeah, they have a
she
couple
like
moves
she
in
like
particular.
jumps back and throws like I don't know if
Those
they're
two
ninja
moves
stars
are
or something.
exactly the same.
Yeah,
ones, too.
and I'm glad you brought up Electra because I kind of forgot I played Psylocke because I was just so glued in on Captain Marvel there. But I just found like those assassin type characters from the ones that I played, they just felt really good. Like I don't know, they didn't seem like weak. Whereas I don't know, you'd kind of assume that they would be. I don't know, they just had really fun moves, and I liked how like some of their abilities kind of relied on you like. I don't know, getting away from danger, right? Like that one ability where you are jumping back, but you're still doing damage, but you can kind of kite back. It just felt fun.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I forgot to shout out Psylocke. She was just sick.
She's
I
really
loved
fun
her
as well.
abilities.
Yeah.
Well, I think you bring up a good point because the second game I can't remember as much. For the first game, obviously people are still in this game. I think powered to the right amount, but in the first game it feels like if you don't have like a big time power like a Cyclops, like a Electra in that game, you can just get killed really easily, and it sucks because the characters can even be fun, but you don't really get a chance because if you're just starting out with them, they're not updated. Their health bar sucks. So it's like I want to play this character, but this game there's still levels of like obviously like Hulk and Luke Cage have a lot more durability, but it doesn't feel like they just made okay, you just have swords, you're just weak, and there's not much you can do. Where that's a big complaint to me in the first game. That happens a lot. Where Cyclops, someone like Hawkeye, I love Hawkeye in the first game, but I just feel like I get backed in a corner, I can die within 10 seconds, and I feel like, and maybe that's the upgrades and the ISOs and stuff like that, but still, that's good putting that in then. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other character I want to shout out is one of the last characters you get. Are we
going into spoilers?
Well, we'll leave the one because this character was announced before the game came out. There's only one character that wasn't announced before the game came out.
I would have mentioned him too, but I forgot he was announced.
Yeah, well, the what is he? The King of what's his name? The something
God of Mischief.
The God of Mischief. There you go. Loki is
so good.
So fun. He feels like Travis said. Magneto feels like a boss when you're playing him, which makes sense because he is a boss fight in the game. The same goes for Loki in my mind. He has like just a heavy attack that's just like a kind of like a wave move that goes to the ground, exactly like a boss would have or has in this game. His swings just feel satisfying. He can fly around. He's got like 2 massive ice moves. He has the tornado.
One of his
makes
abilities,
duplicates of himself.
Yeah, he makes duplicates. They go up and they like shoot ice down. But with your Loki at the ground, you can still fight while those duplicates. It's very
sweet.
quick, but still you can still like get in a couple hits while you're doing that.
It's definitely boss-like type
he's
ability.
Super cool. It's everything I
He
wanted.
feels
in Loki.
like OP, not in like an imbalanced way, but just like
Yeah.
they really made him feel like a god-like character, or this character that you really have to earn his unlock. It takes a good amount of time compared to some other characters like that you just get in the second level for playing the game, and it definitely is rewarding when you finally get him. So they did a great job with Loki.
Yeah, I couldn't put him in that Magneto Wassaw because I only played with him about 20 minutes yesterday, but that's somebody that when I get the game, I feel like he's always going to be in my team. I've wanted him since the first game because the first game robbed us. He's a main villain and we didn't get him. We got Doom and they just made him like the best way I can say it's just perfect. His extreme, everything like that. It's just they nailed it. I'm so thankful for them because now I'll always have a game that has Loki in there and one of my favorite villains. So yeah, they did a perfect job because I always wondered or worried that if it could be a villain that they might just it's cool that you have him and he's pretty basic, but everything about him is just awesome. So
yeah, something I wanted to mention since we're on the category of characters, something I really liked was just because when the game starts, you play as the Guardians, and I don't know, it's just fun seeing like their dynamic, and like each one of them is pretty unique in their own play styles. But as soon as that mission ends, you just get introduced to like just a plethora of characters like all at once, right? You get Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, Wolverine,
pretty much like the core Avengers.
Yeah, exactly. Like you get a huge chunk, and I just like that it wasn't like, okay, now you get one extra character, so everybody has to fight over them. It's just like, oh, okay, this is awesome. Like I don't know, like Guardians are fun and everything, but it just like right off the get-go, you just get to jump in and like try out different characters that might be more your play style. And I just really like that they all unlocked like pretty quick at the beginning. Yeah. Obviously, like Ghost Rider, you get super later.
And even the Guardians level is pretty short.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take that long if you're playing for the first time. And I know there's a lot of people who don't care for the Guardians.
Mhm.
And even if that is your predisposition, you don't have to play for them as long
Yeah,
or
exactly.
for that long before you get a bunch of characters. to
Yeah.
play
Yeah,
with,
and
so.
every game had that. The first game you start with like Wolverine, Thor, Spider-Man, and Cap, and the second game I can't remember it's like Iron Man, Cap, Wolverine, Spider-Man. So every game, like the first level, you start with somebody.
Mhm.
Guardians with the story makes sense, and yeah, and I think that's a good thing with being such a big roster. You unlock a lot, but then you still have lots to
Mhm.
to unlock
No,
and
exactly,
look
yeah.
forward to. And I think those are spaced out at a good amount. That each level, I feel like you kind of almost get like maybe one or two, maybe you get like two-ish, but then you got a trial one. So I feel like it's not, sometimes that happened with the first game where it'd be a long time in between you lock them. I feel like you're good, got a good rapid pace.
Yeah,
but
it's
not,
pretty
you know.
consistent. You kind of get like one or two a level, it feels
Yeah,
like.
Yeah.
But there's so many. It's like we still have more to go, and it's just like by the time the game is like that whole roster's
Mhm.
out, it's gonna be wild. Like there's gonna be almost 50, and that's crazy.
Yeah,
because
it's
I would be happy
insane.
with what we have now, but it's just there's even more to come, and I can't wait to see like how like just this Mahershala Ali hype has me. I'm gonna make Blade like level 1,000 if I can. Like, I just can't fathom that now we still have even these guys coming in the game. I still have so much to dive into. So
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess to take a little jumping point, talk about some of the customization. So as we talked about, the there isn't really like traditional costumes. There's more just like some palette swaps. It is kind of disappointing, right? Like each character, from my experience so far, only has one, and some of them are really, really fucking lazy. Like I hate to break it to you, Taylor, but Ghost Riders
Oh no.
is like, it's not that's bad, I guess, but it just like it seems like it was made in roughly 30 seconds.
yeah,
Like it's just like his coat is like kind of gray. It's like
It's just
That's
a
rough.
coat color difference.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we talked about.
Fuck.
And like Dylan made a good point when we were building up to, as far as, you know, I would rather take the game being more designed and the, you know, the customization, but it does suck a little bit, especially second game you only had one. But in the first game, that was such a big thing with the fan base. So obviously, again, if I
Yeah.
had to pick, I'd pick the gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take characters over costumes,
yeah.
but there's no rule that you can't have both. And I mean, they're going to add them, it seems like. I don't know if there's some sort of paid plan there or if it's going to be free. I mean, Nintendo doesn't really have like, I don't know, I guess a whole like infrastructure for making like microtransactions and stuff. Like it's not really their tight. That's not really Nintendo's thing. They do like DLC packs, but they don't really do a lot of microtransaction like grimy stuff. So we'll see if some of that's free. But I mean, at the end of the day, like what we're reviewing is like the base game, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
base game does have pretty lackluster costumes. There is some good ones. There are some I really like Daredevil has
Really
what
good.
is the name of that costume? Does it have
I
one?
can't remember, but he had that costume just as like a thing. He might
And when we say costume, we mean recolor. Everything
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
recolor.
yeah.
I just kind of use
Nothing
those
changed,
words.
but yeah, he had this costume a year or two ago in some
Yeah.
of his most recent ones, like right before because Daredevil's dead in the comics. Right before that
Ooh,
happened,
spoiler.
and he's gonna be back. they're always back. I think he might even already be back. I read that, then I was like, okay, I'm done. Wolverine died 2 years ago. He's already back. Yeah, right before that, when he took on, I can't remember his apprentice, the guy that can go invisible. But yeah, so there are some comics that are, even Spider-Man's is like Mark 1 from the comics, is his armor one. It just doesn't have the design of it, it has the color. So there's like tributes to it, which I appreciate, but at the same time, it does feel lazy. Luckily, I love the game, so I can give it a pass, but if there wasn't the customization and
Yeah.
the funness,
I guess-
I would have dinged it a
I guess
lot
my
more.
stance is like if their plan was to go 3 colors instead of costumes, one, I think you could have a lot more because realistically, I don't know how long those take to make, but I can't imagine some of these take that long. They're very, very basic. So why not have like a bunch more of them in the game and you can just unlock like a
Yeah.
bunch of them? I don't know why they didn't do that.
Why
I
not
don't
has a customization screen where you can pick the colors if it's
That's
that
what I think
easy,
would be
you
a good
know?
idea as well. I thought about that, like, why not let people change? I don't know how, like, that would be a system they'd have to integrate, but I think that could be possible and might not
Yeah.
be a bad
Yeah,
idea.
it
That'd
wouldn't
be
be
fun.
that big,
Let
yeah.
people, like, customize their characters a little bit. That way people could still get, like, their favorite color scheme or something without, having to wait for a costume or something.
Mhm.
Some of them are all right, but most of them are just, like, this very specific shade of blue or, like, gray. Like, most
Yeah.
of them that I've gotten, at least, are either blue or gray. So it's not even that they change a whole lot. Like, they're pretty uniform
Yeah.
across
Yeah.
like, most of the
I was
roster.
gonna say the one I liked was Captain Marvel's because you get the Kree outfit, but
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of
but it,
yeah.
it like in the movie, it literally is a palette swap. So like in that situation, it kind of works. But
Yeah.
They get
for-
the pass, right? Because
yeah.
it's the same as Daredevil's like, oh, it's just the color. So I was like, yeah, you get the pass, but it's like for the other ones when you can't, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just like,
yeah,
you got
like some of
random.
them are definitely either shout outs to an actual costume, or even are exactly like you were saying with Captain Marvel, that is like that costume. But I don't know, you definitely want a little bit more, especially with
Absolutely,
yeah. The first game definitely set that precedent high. The second game was a big letdown because even though they did have a different costume, most of them were pretty garbage. Honestly, they were pretty bad for the most part.
Yeah.
So it seems like, and like Team Ninja with their other games, like they do this kind of thing where they're adding costumes like post release. I don't know if they normally do it if they have some for free or if you have to pay for them, but they will come at some point, so hopefully that works. But I think the other big thing with customization in this game is the ISO 8s, right? You can put on these different like combinations of stats to upgrade your character. So if a character is really squishy, you can throw like vitality one on them, gives them more life. There's some that are like trade-offs. Some are more interesting. Like you have one that's it makes the enemy like attack the character. I'm thinking of a bad way of saying this, but like I guess it makes the enemies prioritize that one character. So you could put that on like a Hulk, a tanky character, and then enemies will attack them. So you can actually have like a true tank role in this game, which you couldn't really do in the other Ultimate Alliance games. Like for like a lore perspective, you could have a team with like, I'm going to put Colossus on there as my tank, but really they don't really tank hits for you. It's not that kind of game. But with like ISOs like that and the ability, put a vitality one on your tank, something like that, you can really actually make like more specific kind of character designs, even though you don't have like the costume stats or more abilities like the first game. You can still do that in another way. I think in the first game it was nice. You have some that are actually more fitting. Like you have like Doctor Strange gets like the bands of Cyttorak or something, and it's like it's just some stat boost, but it has like a cool name that is kind of fitting to the character. These are all just kind of more generic ISOs. They're just like little gems, but so far from what I've messed around with that, it's a pretty cool system, and I like it. You can get up to 4. I think it takes a while to get the 4th slot, but you get the 3rd level at a pretty reasonable rate. So you can really customize your characters in that way, and I think from what I've messed around with it seems like a pretty good system, and it's pretty fun. And I like that you can actually make a tank character, and you can put things on them that make them more tanky or fit that role more.
That's really cool. I didn't know that they had like the
aggro one.
Yeah, exactly.
And it actually works. Like it's not just. It doesn't just say that, and you can upgrade it as well, so you can get it to like 100%.
Does it work for like boss battles? Does the boss just only go to that guy?
That's a good question. I'm not sure about that. I know it works for like general mobs and stuff like that, but can't say on bosses.
That's cool though.
I mean, a lot of bosses have like big AoE attacks, but it'd be interesting if you could get them to prioritize your characters like that.
Yeah, no, that's just cool that they have different. Because like when I was playing, I don't know, I kind of jumped in late when the main goal was to just get the best ISO on your character, right? Like get the biggest vitality on there.
You get a lot of them, and there's a lot of trash to sift through, and I think they need to make that menu a little bit better. Like either look at more, be able to organize them in a different way. Some of them you can't break down for some reason. So if there's like a useless one you don't want, you just can't do anything with it. And then the thing that's mostly shitty about it is a UI thing where like the description of it is like there's a lot of room for like the whole thing to be written out, but instead it's all on one line and it slowly scrolls. Really, really weird. Like there's tons of room there for them to have it on multiple lines. So hopefully that's just a little like, well, it's clearly not a bug because if it scrolls, it was intentional. But hopefully it's something they change.
And they make the scroll text little, so it's not like, oh, they want a bigger font so you can read it. It's like, no, it's still pretty small.
Yeah. So hopefully that's something they patch. I'm sure that would be pretty easy to patch in. That would be nice. And just like maybe some improved ways to organize your ISOs, because you get quite a bit, especially if like you've been playing for a couple days and you haven't really looked into them at all. You go in there, it's like, oh, that's kind of a mess now. So it'd be nice if you could edit them a little bit more. But for right now, it's a pretty good upgrade system, I'd say, to customize your characters a bit more, and then obviously you upgrade your abilities like how you want. You can eventually get a 5th upgrade slot for them as well, so that's additional like power you can put on them, and you don't get that until later. So that's nice. You unlock that later on in the game, so that's kind of a fun thing to work towards as well. So I'd say there's a good amount of customization. I think the costumes is the one thing they need to add. Even if their costumes don't do anything stat-wise and they're just visual, I think that's the one thing they need. And then there's like a good amount of character customization because, like we said, there's so many characters that's the draw more so than like having one character that's as deep as a Diablo character. Instead, you just can play with over 30 characters, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, no, for sure. One quick thing kind of came to my mind. It was just comparing it to like the first game. This one, like when you do have two characters that do like an ability, sometimes they like combo, right? One thing I kind of wish that they had that they did have in, I don't know about the second game, but the first game, is that they actually had like a name for like a
Oh yeah, the
it was like
cheesy.
it was soup.
right.
It was like shockwebs or like
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
specifically what it was. And then
Fire of hammer.
it would show like the two characters that did it. Obviously, it's not a big thing. It's cool that you can still combo abilities, but for me, I don't know. I kind of like the
Mhm.
cheesy names
Yeah.
to them.
The
And-
cheesy names were fun.
That was
yeah,
a fun
and then
thing,
it
yeah.
also just. I mean, in this one, like it does kind of show an arrow for like when you can jump in to like combo with someone, but also when you see the two portraits, you know like super clearly like who did the comboing because
Yeah.
there are some times that there's arrows going to everyone. You have no idea who
Oh,
comboed,
yeah.
right? So that was just one thing I kind of wish they had. Obviously, it didn't take away from
Yeah.
it like at all. I still love the game, but I don't know. It's
That's a
just-
good thing to bring up. The synergy system is really good for the
Mhm.
most part, I'd say, because in the
I think not at the beginning. I think it takes a little bit to figure out because we had a few trouble opening some boxes, and I think they in game don't explain it the best, especially the way like who has the punch and whatnot. I think once you got it, it's really good. But at the beginning, it's a little like,
yeah,
what
it's,
are we doing? Is it at the same time?
it's
Is
a
it,
little
you
weird
know?
at first, but at the same time, like it's not mandatory for anything. For some of the trials, it is, but that's all like optional content anyway. But yeah, I think it is a really really fun system, and it's like actually. Like there's actual visual representation for it. So
Yeah.
like the classic one is like the tornado, which you can imbue with any element, or
So
like I
good.
said with Electro, you can just throw your shurikens in there and then they'll spit out in
Yeah,
all different
that's sweet.
What a
directions.
terrible way to die. You're in a tornado and there's just ninja stars. Oh.
That would be that's pretty
gruesome.
brutal.
yeah.
Even like a few of your abilities can imbue like someone's weapons with like ice or something, and it's cool that you can like see that on your character. Like my Black Panther has like these icy
Yeah.
fists that he's like grinding up people with. So I think there's a visual feedback for that as well. And there is just like I feel like there's a lot of room and a lot of I guess like a big learning curve for that synergy system as well.
Yeah.
Because yeah, tornadoes make a lot of sense. It's pretty obvious how you can combine with that. But there's also like even just two characters doing like a giant like jumping attack, a pound kind of attack. That's like creates like a shockwave sort of thing.
Mhm.
And so some of them are a little more, I guess not as straightforward. And so it seems like there's a lot of depth there to be dived
Yeah.
into. And it's a really fun way to like think about how you're going to build your teams together. Oh, I want these two synergies together.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just gonna say. Like, it gives you some incentive to just try out different teams and like,
Mhm.
oh, I wonder I wonder what this combo would be like with this character. It's
Yeah, and
just-
there's like
just
definitely like
fun.
a chart for it, but at the same time, it's just fun. Even just playing through the game and
Yeah.
thinking like, oh, I can make Venom's whale move like imbued with fire. That's
Yeah,
fucking badass.
it's so badass. Yeah, and then the other synergy thing that I kind of already mentioned was just like the extremes.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, it's pretty much a kerfuffle. Like when it's
Oh,
all
yeah,
going
it's
on,
messy,
and
yeah.
you,
the
you
frame
can't-
rate sometimes takes a dip. Yeah,
That's how you know you're doing well, though. When
That's
you
what
when
I
you
love
get
it,
frame
yeah.
drops, it's like, all right, we're doing damage
popping
here,
off.
gentlemen.
the game never crashes. It's okay.
No, it's awesome. And but like just the fact that like these characters, they don't just always say the same thing when you do your ultimate. It's just like, I'm in, like, you know. But like it's different for whether Ghost
Yeah.
Rider starts
And I like
the
that you
extreme.
can control that for your teammate or your computer, I should say, as
Yeah,
well, which is
no.
pretty nice.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
If you're playing solo, you can like click it more and more, and then your
oh,
CPUs will use it.
That's really
That's
cool.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with synergies. Like you can control your CPUs doing their synergies. Sometimes they'll just do a random ability, but you can also like you can even do that. Like we didn't really figure that out when we were playing the 24-hour stream, but you can control the synergies, which is pretty nice because I haven't really played much single player. I've played like some solo online, but that's like co-op with other people, and then mostly with you guys as well. So I haven't done a ton of single player yet, unfortunately, to talk about on the review or something.
Mhm.
But it seems like they have it there, so you can control your teammates well, even though the CPUs aren't the greatest.
Never
obviously. Never are.
I do want to kind of piggyback on that when you guys were talking about like the frame rate drop and stuff. There were times, I don't know if it's a negative really either, because it's fun that all the attacks are so massive and like large scale. But there are times when like we're all hitting our synergies at the same time, and the screen is just a complete
Shit
clusterfuck.
show, yeah.
And I don't know where Ghost Rider is. And then when it settles down,
Yeah.
I'll be running in the corner thinking I'm doing damage, but I'm attacking the
Well,
side
that
of the
happened to me a
arena.
few
I think,
times.
oh,
Especially
Yeah.
late
It
in
can
the
happen.
night when it's like 6 o'clock in the morning,
well,
whatever
that's
time
the
it was.
worst time because it happens like every second then.
Yeah, that's definitely the game. It can be pretty messy. The UI is pretty intense. Like those extreme attacks are fun, but at the same time, like you can't turn off the thing that like pops up on the screen that shows like Ghost Rider just like with his little cool render like popping off like that inherently does cover what's happening on the screen. You can't.
Well, I
really
don't.
turn
I
don't
don't really mean that. I mean like the actual.
No, I
damage
mean that
you're
like
doing.
in combination with
Oh,
just, like there's
yeah.
just a lot going on in like a short period of time, so it makes it hard to see. I definitely agree, and there is some frame drops there. I mean, the game, like it is capped at 30 FPS, which I don't like in general. I'm a frame rate fucking snob, as I've brought up many times before. So the fact that it's capped at 30 kind of sucks for me in general, but honestly wasn't as bad as I was expecting. I was expecting to notice it more than I did. And because other than the extreme attacks, it doesn't really drop below 30, that's definitely a good thing. So the game runs pretty well. Haven't really used much of the really at all of the just handheld mode. So I can't talk about how well that performs. I would imagine it drops some frames and is a little bit lower quality, but I don't know. I mean, that's not really why I got this game. I didn't get it to play it on the go. It's a nice bonus, but yeah. So I can't comment on that, unfortunately.
Anything else?
I
Speak now or forever hold.
Yeah, I thought I had some other topic. I guess the trials are cool. You can get fun upgrades from there. There's interesting stuff in there. I haven't done too much of them yet, but it's just a fun way to like play, these 3 bosses together who are normally in the story completely different spots, but to get to fight them all together is really cool. To have just different enemies in different areas, places in the main story that are empty zones when you're just walking through them normally, can like put enemies in there, and it's just like a new battlefield that you haven't experienced before.
I wanted to say too on the Infinity Trials thing, I also like how there's times I like it and there's times I absolutely hate it, but like they just changed the way how you play the game. Like you can only do damage with your extreme attacks, right?
Yeah.
Me and Kirk
I remember
found that halfway into a mission after screwing it up.
We were like, why aren't we doing any damage? we
got to read this.
Fail it, retry it, and it's like can only do damage with your extreme attacks. I don't know, like obviously in that moment it's like this kind of sucks, but I don't know, it's just a cool way to spice up like the way that you play the game.
It's a fun spin on it.
Yeah, and then what you mentioned is just having like bosses that aren't normally together like on the main story, but like seeing them like I don't know like pile up, it's just fun. It's almost like a different, like I was gonna say a different level, but it is a different level, right? It's like it's
reusing like content in the game in a hopefully creative way.
Yeah.
Not all of them are outstanding, but
Yeah.
for the most part, like there's a good amount of them. So
And like if
pretty
people
fun.
didn't play the game, it's like it's a lot of replaying. Like Dylan said, sometimes there's a mix of boss, but sometimes it's just you're gonna fight Doc Ock with this different way, or you're gonna do this mission this different way. So just to be clear.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really touch on that, but there's a ton of boss fights in this game, and I think for the most part they're really fun. Some of them are more like they introduce a certain mechanic, like the Dormammu fight. You kind of have like to pick up these rocks and then like get hit by only energy moves and then throw them at. It's like it's explained in the game, but if you're playing with friends, you might not be paying close attention, and we didn't really catch on to that. It took us a while to figure that out. Some of the bosses are just straight up brutal in terms of just straight up combat wise, but some of them are basic as well. But either way, there's just like a ton of bosses in there. It's fun to see some of these characters pop up who couldn't be playable but are still in there, and I mean that's classic in the Ultimate Alliance games. There's always tons and tons of boss fights, but I think they were really fun. Just like the stagger meter is kind of a new thing as well, and it just works really well.
I really like the stagger meter.
The different like phases you can see when they activate, which is pretty good mechanic, I would say.
I was gonna say too, because like there's some characters. I'll just pick Captain Marvel because that's the character I played the most, and she had one ability that was like specifically a stagger. So it was really good for those boss battle moments because you could just charge it up, max it, and then you just hit them, and then their stagger bar just chunks, and then that's when we'll do our extremes. You go in there. Ghost Rider jumps in. I'm in.
Misses with his bike.
Yeah, but it's just I don't know. It was a fun mechanic that I don't think they had in the second game, right?
No, I don't.
No,
think
I'm glad they added it though, because it just adds a different way to play the game as opposed to just get their health bar to 0, right?
Well, I like it better than what I hated in both games, but first game was really bad for that. Was introducing shield enemies, and that was like you would just have to grab them and just tap X. And the thing was, it wasn't that it was hard and you would get beaten. It just was annoying. You'd want to be popping off your power. So that's what I like. Like you can still choose not to take out their stagger if you want. You can just go for the health bar. It might take a lot longer, but you can do that, especially when you're higher level. But I really enjoyed that opposed to a bunch of enemies walking out with some wooden shields. Like, oh, I gotta pull it or do some like AAB attack. It's like, oh, this is lame.
I was gonna say it shows like a quick cut scene. You see 3 dudes come with shields. Fuck, here we go.
This looks like trouble.
I wonder if that's something they chose not to have shield enemies because there is no grab. You'd have to do it in a different way because that's kind of how you got rid of their
whatever reason.
shield.
I'm glad
maybe just swapped it out with those fucking snipers.
Yeah. So that is a thing. Like I think in general there isn't a ton of different enemy types. When I redid Dark Dimension on harder difficulty, there was a couple new enemy types there. So that is pretty fun. Like the way they changed up those guys. But I think I'm excited for hopefully the DLC will add a couple more enemy types just to keep it a little more interesting for the basic enemies, because the boss fights are fun, but the basic enemies most of them are pretty much identical. Like each area kind of introduces a couple new mechanics, but yeah, those snipers in Wakanda, they like do
brutal.
Sometimes they can one-shot you if you don't have a full health bar, so they are pretty brutal. It's kind of funny, like when I've been playing online, like everyone when we get to the sniper areas is just like, okay, everyone has like a certain sniper they're gonna go take out so that we don't get killed by them. So that's pretty fun. I'm excited for, I don't know, to see what they do with these enemy types.
I think
future.
Marvel Knights could have some fun enemies. You know, I'm
Some
very
vampires.
excited for that. Oh yeah,
Definitely. Lots of vampires.
Morbius. Let's go. I can't wait. Yeah.
Mhm.
such a weird pick. Great.
Do you guys want to talk about a couple like spoilery things as well?
I'd love
Or you want
Yeah,
to leave
sure.
that?
So if
Spoilers.
you don't want any spoilers for story or maybe some character unlock, now is the time to tune out. It probably won't be a long portion, and we're not going to get an in-depth.
Yeah, there's not too much to break down. but-
Yeah, so I want to start probably with the big boy that they did put Thanos in the game.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think I said that even day one when that game was revealed and I wasn't even a big fan of the look and I was really worried about it, I said if they don't put Thanos in this game, that's a huge missed opportunity. I don't think I would have docked them a point on the review, but I would have been like, these guys are idiots, you know, and that's what I loved with when we were talking about how Loki played and this. To me, they did sit down and go, what would people want to play? And obviously, Thanos was around, but when they were making this game, he wasn't the level he is now. So they were smart to do that. I think smart with Loki because he's very popular and that's a big one. But Thanos, just they made all the moves right. I really like Thanos. I didn't get to play with him much as I did with Loki. Yeah, I like him. I don't love his extreme because it's just a big stomp. But other than that, he's just really cool and he's pretty much everything I want. And he's Thanos without the glove too, so that's why it makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's just he plays perfect. I don't know if he'll be an S tier, but I need to play with him more. But I'm very proud of his team.
He's pretty fun.
Are his eyes red, like as a playable character?
Mm.
Okay, that's just his look.
I can't really say I've zoomed in on his eyes necessarily,
Okay.
but on the character select screen they are. So
Okay, yeah, I'm assuming so then.
he looks pretty menacing, like in his little picture up in the corner. Like
Mhm.
he just looks
Little
terrifying.
smile.
His background's like
Yeah.
just some destroyed planet or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, he's a really really fun character. He's like his heavy attack, for example, is just a charge attack, which
yeah.
you know what I was talking about earlier. Like in Ultimate Alliance 1, that would be like a full on ability, but it has just like some badass heavy attack he has. But he is really funny. Like he's definitely big, like tanky, lumbering sort of character, but that's totally fitting for him.
The Mad
And,
Titan.
Yeah, he's like he has one move where he grabs like it's only on like kind of lower tier enemies, but you can grab an enemy and then like just stomp their face into the ground with
and it
your
does
fist.
smash damage on the ground
Yeah.
too.
Holy.
So.
Yeah, he's and then he has like a teleport where he just like zips to it. It's kind of like Nightcrawler, I
He
guess.
has a teleport?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
zips
he
like to
does.
an enemy
Holy shit.
And then
across.
he does that. I think that's what he does. Remember that move that he kept taking us out with? He teleports and does those
Oh,
uppercuts?
yeah.
That's
Fuck
what he does.
that.
He doesn't do
You can
as
use
many,
that,
but
yeah.
he does do one teleport and a big punch. So
Oh
that's an
my
actual
God.
He
move you can
bamfs
do.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's definitely a badass, and
Yeah,
when you
he's
finally
great.
unlock him, like it's very satisfying.
Is it an
to get-
Infinity Trial? Is that where you get him?
Yeah, that's how you get all the. I guess that's not how you get Venom. That's how you get the other villains: Magneto,
Okay.
Loki, and Thanos, and Elektra as well. For I guess she's technically a boss fight in the game, so
Yeah,
it
she's
kind of makes
villain.
sense.
Give us that Mysterio trial, yo.
Yeah.
let's go.
So it's definitely to get to his trial though takes a good amount of time. It's like I'd say the most efficient way to do it is to blast through the superior difficulty, which is the one above mighty. So you have to get through most of that before you can get to him in like an efficient way.
Level
So
some peeps up.
yeah, it takes a while, but when you finally get him, like he starts at level 80. The cap is 100, so he's like fucking up there. He's definitely
He's an end game
definitely
character.
pretty beastie.
Oh,
yeah, and that's really satisfying. What did you guys think of the like story twist that Thanos isn't the last boss and that Thane, his son, is the last boss?
Well,
he
I
gets
don't
like
know.
the
We knew
Infinity
it was
armor.
Yeah, I don't
coming.
even
We
know
all
what it is.
knew.
I was trying to have
You didn't know it was coming.
I
Travis the whole time was like, "Oh, Thane's a good guy." No, he didn't mean that.
No,
He
no,
didn't
no,
give
no.
the stones up because he's a
No,
bad
no,
guy.
no. The
He
fir-
did. He was innocent.
That's
He was just trying to
exactly
save
what he
Yeah,
said.
the
us.
first time I was when he did give up because no, you guys are like he took them away. He's a traitor. I'm like he didn't do anything. It was a traitor. He was trying to save him. And then as it got more clear, I was playing along like no, he's a good guy. The first time I did think like here we go. Like he when I didn't even think he was necessarily gonna be good. It's just you guys are saying he's a traitor, and he specifically says I'm doing this to save you. I'm like he's pulling a Doctor Strange.
Fuck Thane.
But yeah, it was.
No, I'm against Thane.
Fuck
I liked
Thane.
it. They kind of do that. It was like their Nano Knight Nick Fury, and I don't know because I don't have much experience with Thane. He's not that popular of a character. I've read the classic Infinity Gauntlet storyline once. I've read other ones. Infinity, he might be in there, but I barely remember Infinity. I read it once. I don't even know if I finished it to be honest. But that introduced the Black Order. But I think it was a fun little twist because
Yeah.
you're expecting Thanos. That it got soured because we got salty
We were
with
tired.
that,
Yeah, it
that
was
level
late.
because it was
Absolutely.
pretty challenging. But I'm excited to go play that again.
That was
when
hours.
I have some leveled
I
up
haven't
guys.
redone that boss fight actually, or I did.
I don't blame you.
Actually, I did with some people online. We kind of He still gave us a challenge, like that last phase where you think you got him, we all popped off.
Yeah.
That's my
But
favorite
then it
part.
goes into one last ride, last phase.
I watched that last night, and like we broke the mic. We screamed. We were so happy, and then it clicked. The next like part of it, we all like, and we died right away. It was so
Fuck,
upsetting.
man.
I can't wait to go back there. It's just like 4 guys level that 100 and go into mighty mode and just
Just
the
fuck
can for a bit.
Thane,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Um,
go superiority and kill us.
I was gonna just piggyback what you said. I liked it too, just because I don't know. The whole time you're just expecting Thanos to be the main boss. He was the main boss. It's like I don't know that story. Like obviously the story isn't anything like game changing or anything, but it's just
We just saw that.
yeah, exactly. We just saw that, so it was cool introduction of like Thane's like the main villain in it,
Mhm.
and I like that he had like the full infinity. Is that a thing? The full infinity armor? Or is that
I think
just,
so. It is.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me
I-
do a quick.
It is
search.
now.
I think it might be
It-
in the
it just-
Infinity
it looked-
storyline, but you never know because Nano Knight Fury was not a thing, and they just created that, and I
Yeah.
think that could also be
Really?
That, so.
They created Nanite?
Yeah. He's always had like bots that do himself, but he's never been like a fucking robot. Like I'm Nick Fury. Like Ultimate Alliance games take some liberties sometimes. So.
But yeah, I just I don't know. I love the look of him. Like when he was in the full armor, it just looked pretty badass. And then
Mhm.
yeah, just having the red herring as Thanos. I guess he isn't really a red herring because at the time he is the main villain.
Yeah. And he's still like, when he joins, he's like, I'm not joining. What are you guys talking about? It's like, clearly you're helping us. Like, come on, you're in this boss fight
Yeah.
helping us out.
Yes,
He
yeah.
did nothing
Yeah,
in
I
that
think
boss
it might
fight
just
too.
be for the game because I
Okay.
don't like I said I've not read every Thanos story, but I've never
Yeah.
remembered one like that, and that makes sense. They could even Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1. It wasn't based off one story, but they do their own type of
Yeah.
different
Yeah,
things.
I like the explanation of it too. How like Thanos said like you can't only like I can only handle like the power of the Infinity Gauntlet. Obviously, it's different from what we saw in the movie
You
and
could
stuff.
have been as big as me, father.
Yeah, his quotes. Oh man,
Oh yeah.
so
Yeah, I think
Ingrained.
I think for me, it's like I like the twist that Thanos isn't like the last boss. I think that would have been too easy, and like they
Yeah.
even showed that in the trailer. In
Mhm.
like
And
one of the
he's-
trailers, they showed like that boss fight.
He's barely in the game, to be honest. They show that
Oh,
flashback of him, and they're like, it's the last boss.
Because there's even like an earlier point where you're doing a fight against Corvus and Proxima, and they like fuck you up, and that's intentional, or it leads into a cutscene. You're supposed to lose that fight. Like why they should have had that with Thanos, where he just like comes in and stomps your like level 15
Absolutely.
characters.
Yeah.
just grabs Ghost Rider, rips his head off.
Yeah, and then like, and then if you beat it like somehow because you're over leveled or you come back and do it, and like offer some sort of
He
bonus.
just joins you right away.
Yeah, because that's what they did with the Corvus fight. Like if you go back, I learned that if you go back and fight them in the X Mansion after they fuck you up, if you go back and fight them with like a stronger team and you beat them, you get like a bonus for it.
Oh,
So
that's
it is
cool.
What kind of
possible to beat
bonus
them.
do you get?
I think maybe it's like some art or like some ISO 8. You get like
that's
some
cool.
collectible added on. So it is pretty nice that you get something if you do beat them, but there's no way you would do that on your first try. If you are,
No,
then you're the best
Unless
player in the
you're a
world.
god,
what
yeah.
am I going to say?
just Ghost Rider rolling around like
Mhm.
you did against
Rolling
Thane.
around.
I'm in.
Yeah, so Thane for me, I guess I just like the twist to me was like super obvious, which like once again
Oh,
like, I wasn't
absolutely.
expecting like a mind-boggling story, but
Yeah.
I guess the twist didn't have like really impact for me. It wasn't like a surprising thing to me at all. It was like fuck Thane. The first scene I saw him like this guy's
Fuck
bad. I can
Thane.
tell. I know he's helping us out, but is he really? Like this is kind of. I feel like I'm getting cheesed here. Him and his little amber, putting the stones in the amber, whatever he does. What do you guys think of the post-credit scene? If you remember it, it's kind of
I
like
think I dipped.
Because you weren't there for that. Yeah.
you dipped during the credits.
No,
I
you
think so.
no, you were there. You were there actually. I think. Because
What happens?
The post credits just like the 2 portals opening, right?
Yeah, it like
No, I was not
it like
there.
kind of zooms out, and there's kind of like either it's like 2 galaxies or it's eyes. It kind of looks like eyes. Like maybe it's Galactus.
That's
or
what
something.
most people would say. I don't know. One thing I love that they put that in there because it's like the Marvel thing, but that's to me at least them. I'm hoping that team is kind of showing
Yeah.
that we'd love to make another one.
I'm hoping it's like a Beyonder thing.
It could be. Anytime I see just open space and I see portals, I'm like, it's probably Galactus or Silver Surfer or something like that. It could make sense if they made a 4th game, as I imagine Fantastic Four is going to be DLC. The next game they could be like the base game. But
Yeah.
hey, yeah, that could lead into Secret Wars and stuff like that. I'm not sure
Mhm.
where that could go, but I'm always going to say Galactus just because it's an easy answer. And that would be they already did a couple boss battles that were huge guys. That would make sense because the boss battle of Galactus in Avengers 1 is pretty easy. It's the guys around you that are tough, but he's just kind of like, you got to do the like quick cuck scene of like jump on him, hit him, and I go, oh, I
Yeah.
think they could actually give us a real fight, and I don't think you could have that as a playable character though. You'd have to really downsize Galactus, but
That would
hey,
be wild.
Lego did it. There's a mini Galactus you can get, so
Yeah.
why not? I'm down.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I was kind of thinking maybe is it kind of setting up for like the next batch of DLC or one of the DLCs, or is it for another game? I don't know. I hope it's for another game.
Mhm.
I want a fourth one so bad.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
And we're not even done with the third one. That's
Yeah, we're not even done with the
Buy
third
this
one.
game, people.
Buy it.
but I'm excited. I'm curious to see if it's like if you beat like the fourth and hardest difficulty, if it's the same cutscene or maybe there's something else different at the end. I'm kind
Mhm.
of curious what they have there.
That's a good point, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I do want to shout out. I got two things I want to shout out though. I mean, MODOK, his legs.
Oh,
Gotta
you
point
love
that out.
MODOK.
Yeah, there was a big fan.
I'm a big fan of MODOK. I remember fighting him in the other Ultimate Alliance games. I'm always super hyped to see him pop back in. I was
You
super
know he's
happy to see
getting
him
an
in this.
animated series next year.
Get an animated series?
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
check that out, 100%. And I do want to shout out Nick Fury. I think like the last time he pops in is in Wakanda, and then he totally fucks off after that. All he does is his little like
That
comments
must be a
or
rift.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
that's
he's
all
gone.
he does. Is comment
He
on the
wasn't
wrist.
there at all throughout the end of the game or anything. So who knows what he's doing in this game?
Sword.
Is that do you
Sword.
do you mean like that could be a post credits thing, or you just mean like where is he in general?
I mean, where is he in general? Maybe he could
Yeah.
lead
His
into that,
eyes.
but
I think
mean,
that's
he's
just
not
the
s-
nature of a game with this many characters, right? Is like some characters just disappear off the face of the earth, and like where the fuck are they? You never really know.
Remember that reveal trailer? We thought he was playable, and man, the mighty have fallen. You know, poor Nick Fury.
The mighty have
I could
fallen.
see him getting out at some point.
I hope
maybe.
they do more DLC. I'll pay if
I don't know if they
add
need
another,
it. Like with Blade and Punisher, I feel like have same sort of gun sort of moves.
Yeah,
Not sure if
I
they really need
I
it.
really really want Doctor Doom to be thrown in there. I
it's
really
tough.
want him.
It's tough because I think we'll know because they said Fantastic Four is last, right?
Yeah.
So if X-Men is 4,
in
then
2020.
yeah. So if X-Men is just 4 characters, then we know for a fact it's just the Fantastic Four, which will be
Yeah.
fun. But that's definitely my least hyped one, just because I kind of know what those characters can be. So. But I'm with you. I would love Doom in there big time. He was he's a favorite of
well-
mine in the first game.
Well, yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, they announced for Marvel Knights. I think that'll be it. I don't think there's going to be more in that pack. But if you look at the X-Men pack, like yes, there's probably going to be 4 characters in there, but they already threw Colossus in, or they're going to throw Colossus Cyclops in there. So it's like really DLC X-Men wise, like it's probably at least 6 characters if you think about it that way.
We don't have Beast, right? I can't remember. Was he
No,
playable?
he's not playable.
Not playable. So he'll probably be in that. I would assume. In like,
That's what I've gone back and forth on. He is a
Mhm.
design, and I just feel like it'd be easy to throw in there. But at the same time, I feel like Marvel Knights was a lot of random characters that have no.
Yeah,
in the
the thing
story,
with
so-
Colossus and Cyclops is they like help you fight in the game. Like they walk around, they shoot lasers, they have their moves. Whereas Beast doesn't really have any of that. He is like an NPC that stands around, but like they already had some animations for attacks and stuff for Colossus and Cyclops. Whether or not they use those ones or if they make some fresh animations, I'm not sure. But at least they I think they're a bit easier. And I just think moveset wise, like I think there is an idea to do Beast. I think you come up with something fun, but I don't know if I'm chomping at the bit for him necessarily. I think it's fine if I think every one of these DLCs is going to have some NPCs in there, right? And I think
Yeah.
every one of them will probably have some sort of guiding character. And I think Beast maybe could just stay and be the X-Men one, like in the DLC. He could just kind of help guide the story along. And I think I'd be okay with that personally.
I got Loki. I said this on our preview cast. Omega Red is my new go-to. That's what I want for X-Men. I think he'd be amazing. So that's my new. I got Loki. My dreams fulfilled. I need a new dream to be fulfilled.
Mhm.
I want Omega Red and X-Men.
Yeah, I mean the Marvel Knights pack is already a dream come true.
Oh yeah, Blade, Punisher, Moon Knight, Mark Spector coming back, and Morbius. Woo!
Jeez,
That is
Louise.
going to be a spicy DLC.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
Cannot wait.
do you think it's Jared Leto's Morbius or
No.
comic book one?
It's the comic book one.
Jared Leto's Morbius doesn't exist yet.
That's
Yeah.
true. I do like how this game combined so much of like the movie aesthetic with like the comic book aesthetic. I
Yeah.
thought that was really really well done.
Yeah, true. I think I love the art style in general. I didn't really comment on that at any point, but I like the cartoony look, and I like that. Yeah, like Ant-Man is definitely ripped out of the MCU, but then some characters like Wolverine are like shout outs way to like the animated show,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Final thoughts.
Totes my goats.
Totes.
I get a totes out of my goats. No, I'll are we rating it right now or final
Go
thoughts?
ahead.
I totally
That'd be both.
let it be both. My final thoughts. I absolutely love this game. Can't wait to own it. Can't wait to just put in a lot more hours and try like all the characters. Have you done that yet?
Played everyone?
Yeah.
I haven't played everyone yet. I still haven't tried Drax. I haven't tried Miles yet.
Mm.
Uh,
Miles, can't wait to try.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's still a few characters. I've probably played like 80% of this
Okay,
one. So
yeah.
I've played a good amount.
I'm excited to just try everyone out, and I feel like I don't know that there might be some dark horse picks out there that I probably wouldn't have thought of liking, but if I
Yeah.
jump in there, just like man, this is really unique.
I wasn't
play style.
expecting to be as big a fan of Black Panther as I am.
I was
so.
gonna say like just Crystal, like I didn't play her, but just like the fact that her abilities kind of combine with her,
Very
like,
unique
really
design,
unique.
yeah.
Never even heard of that character before this game got announced, but I don't know, she's really interesting to me. But yeah, just the plethora of characters and just basically everything we've already talked about is just I'm really high on this game right now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I think.
Nice.
Obviously it's not a complete 10 out of 10. You know, that camera angles.
There's problems. Yeah.
The lack of like if there was like the amount of like character costumes like there was in the first game, probably could have been like a 10 out of 10. Honestly, like with how good the costumes could have been. I don't know.
You could forgive the camera, maybe.
Well, if they fix it, so maybe I'll do another
a
review
couple.
if they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, Team Ninja definitely fix that camera angle, please, because that's pretty terrible. But thank God the whole game isn't terrible like that, because that I don't know if I
That
would
would've
have
been
passed
sad,
it.
yeah.
But yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. I absolutely love this game. Can't wait to get it.
I'll help you with a 9.5. Just the same thing. Yeah, I just love this game
Yeah,
so
bomb.
much. I can't wait to get it. Obviously, like I said, you can see I'm buying an entire console just to get it, so it's left its mark. I cannot wait to do a deep dive. The only cons are the exact same thing. Camera, very buggy, especially multiplayer. That was tough sometimes, especially Bullseye. You had to just close your eyes and hope for the best. And yeah, I'm a huge costumes guy, so I hope that changes. Maybe my score could change later on, but if it's just the base game we're talking about, yeah, there's some fun ones in there, but I feel it's just kind of, a little lazy. And I hate saying that because the rest of the game isn't lazy, so maybe it's just uninspiring, So I wish maybe they even would have took the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 route and just done one really good one, and I'd take that over the colors. And even if they said everyone only has one costume and we're not adding any more costumes and that's it, I would have been happy with that. So yeah, a 9.5 for me. Love this game, though. Can't wait to keep talking about it and do more casts.
Solid. Yeah, we've said it all. That this game's not perfect, but it's damn good. It's just so much fun. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's easy to pick up and play with your friends. I mean, the Switch is weird to connect controllers, but it's not that big of a problem. We didn't really touch on this, but the online, I was worried, just like Nintendo games in general. Like Smash Ultimate's online is garbage. The netcode is trash. Finding games is really, really bad. So it makes like playing online almost like a chore at times, even if you want to. But that is not the case here. Like I've had one or two like slightly laggy games, but it's really good online. It's really easy to go exactly what level you want to do exactly what Rift, whatever difficulty. Like it's really easy. So it's all there for me. I'm in love with this game, and the fact that I still haven't really played all the characters yet. I've barely done any of the Infinity Rifts. The fact that there's like 2 more characters next month, another 4 the next month, probably more the month after, another DLC pack this year. Like it is insane how much content's coming to this game with how much is already in here. I'm very excited. Yeah.
I can see this game getting like the seasons treatment, where like next year we get like, here's
Yeah,
like a second
we'll see.
season of stuff.
I would
If
love
if
that.
all 4 of you guys buy, all 3 of you guys buy the game, that's 3 more sales on their record. Sales I've heard are pretty good from reports I've seen. So
Good.
I mean, if people buy it, they'll definitely do it. So
I would love, and that's what maybe we'll do a cast on the future. If we could pick 3 more packs, what would it be? Because I've said this, I want a villains pack so bad. Give us and I've even said, we've talked about this. Give us just a Spies villains. Give Green Goblin. Give us
Let's
Mysterio.
go.
Give us Doc
Mysterio,
Ock.
yeah.
Give us Carnage.
I love the little tease too. Like once you beat Green Goblin, and then it's like,
Should I join
Yeah,
you?
it's like, yeah, come join us. It's like, I tried.
they were definitely thinking about that, weren't they?
Yeah. So yeah, I hope that's why you got to buy this game. I want more.
Songbird?
Seasons. Yeah.
The Ultimate Alliance 2-pack.
I don't know that
Nanite,
one.
Nick Fury, Penance, Songbird. No one would buy it except for me.
Taylor, I want my boy Penance.
Penance.
Taylor, give us your final thoughts and let everyone know where they can find us.
Yeah, final thoughts. This game was it was such a good time. My hype was just 10 times higher playing it with all you guys. It was just such a good time. And like it has so much going for it. Like I really wish that there were more costumes, and I have to now see what you said about
See what you said.
I didn't want you to have that sensation where you play the game for like 20 hours and like, oh, I got the costume, and then you go
I'm
look.
glad you broke it to me.
I felt like it would be
'cause
better if I just told you that it sucks.
I was half expecting Cosmic Ghost Rider. Like
I told you not to.
I know. I was
told
watching
you not
YouTube
to.
videos and I was getting so stoked.
Right
but-
away when you threw that in chat, I'm like, that's not happening.
Not happening.
But no, I'm glad
Maybe
that
someday.
you
Maybe
broke
someday.
me into it. Yeah, maybe someday. But
Maybe 4.
it's I didn't think that after we would get through it. Like I was telling Travis, like I'm good for like months now, and now like just watching the stream and thinking on it and talking with you guys. Like, no, I gotta go. I'll probably go get it right now. I
Do
think
it.
I'm going to. So.
Do it.
You
This
wanna
guy.
get yeah, I'm
The
You
gonna-
guys run
emergency
into each other
fund.
at the EV games. Like, hey, what are you doing here? Kirkland's
Oh.
also somehow there.
stealing it though.
Wink, wink.
But the aside from the fact that maybe not as many good costumes and like that one time the camera angle went completely fucking wacko, like
Wacko Jack.
I feel like I could look past that because the game itself was super hype and like I like how the boss battles were hard because it was such a grind and it was super intense and I like how you gotta. I haven't had a game in a while that really pushes you to like strive for more in yourself. Like,
I need to be a better Ghost Rider.
need to be better cube.
I need to
rider.
put on the leather jacket.
This game makes me a better
I
man.
need to use more cubes.
I'll give this game a 10 out of 10.
Oh, the fucking Big Ten.
I think it's totally warranted. I think ladies and gentlemen.
Suicide Squad rating.
I was
Yeah.
just gonna say the same thing.
Who fucking needs camera angles?
Oh,
Yeah.
if you have a Switch, then you need to own this game. I think
Oh wow!
I'm just throwing that down there. Like it's
What if they
great.
hate Marvel?
Honestly,
What if
if you're a
Zack
Marvel
Snyder
fan, this
fanboy?
is an easy buy.
A Zack Snyder fan.
DC, if you're watching this, just make us a fucking DC
I,
version.
I
of
would
this
play a
game,
DC line.
Yeah,
I would.
Dylan
too.
finally loved Batman.
They
you
have
know?
really
Get
good
over it.
like.
I wouldn't play
plethora of
Batman, but I'd
characters.
play other characters.
You'd play if you love Daredevil. You'd like Batman. They're the same character. They're the exact same people.
I like blind characters more than.
Oh
Just
yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
No, I think 100%. This is a game you need to have if you have a Switch. It's just got so much going for it, and like you said, so much more content on the way. How
Yeah.
can you not get super pumped about this? It's
Feels
just
like I wanna
super
count.
super sick. So
Super sick.
yeah,
Super 10. Super
super
hyped.
10.
Where can they find the Super Geek verse?
Yeah, the Super Geekers. Ladies and gentlemen, with your internet connection or your data, because we're data worthy. But if you want to save a buck, you can check us out in the search bar. Facebook, Geekverse Space Podcast. That's space bar, not the space word, because who knows where that's gonna go. And there's tons of stuff. We got tons of casts. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff.
Everything big Comic-Con we talked about.
Comic-Con, yeah, it's just wrapped up, and there's like tons of awesome Comic-Con stuff that just happened. There's Blade,
Blade,
Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, Hawkeye,
Dimensions of Madness. What's it
like,
called? Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Eternals. Like, there's so much stuff going on. And and also our Comic-Con that we're gonna be, having a booth at. You can come say hi.
If you live in Kelowna,
we'll do signatures.
even if you don't.
Come drive.
come drive.
Taylor will pay your expenses. Let you stay at his place.
I don't know about that. Maybe you
No, you
guys,
said you have a spare couch.
you guys pay me out.
Whoa.
Whoa.
If you want to follow us
Jesus.
along, please give us a review if you like this review on Apple Podcast, because we're trying to get 200. That would help us a lot. Help us hit our next milestone. YouTube, the video links, and all the podcasts are all in the description down below. If you want to subscribe, we got tons of stuff coming out a little bit. Check out our Tarantino Retro. Check out all the Comic-Con stuff. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time, and it won't be boring.
Peace.
Peace.
I'm in.